next article, we have a Cointelegraph one. It's Women in Crypto, Contrasting Industry Dynamics with Traditional Sectors. This article is incredibly fitting today as we have our guest and crypto expert Danielle here to share firsthand her own experience and insights. But yeah, despite exponential growth in the crypto world, gender diversity remains a really big challenge. So this article, just to summarize some of the stats that they had, until 2018, women accounted for only 8.5% of all crypto investors worldwide. Although there has been lots of progress with women now representing, I think it's at 37% of global crypto holders, there's still a notable shortage of women in core development and technical roles within blockchain and crypto companies. So no doubt a lot of challenges there persisting, with women holding only about 6% of the top leadership roles in the industry. Danielle, where are our ladies?
Good question. There's so much to unpack there. I am clearly a massive advocate, and that's why I founded Women in Digital Economy, because there's this constant narrative of we need more women in the space, we need more women speakers, we need more women leaders. And I'm like, okay, well, what are we doing to solve that problem? So Women in Digital Economy's mission is to actually just kind of mentor and also help upskill women that are maybe industries where they could easily kind of transition their current role and skill set, but kind of into the Web3 industry. And then also, because it's so vast and wide, try to kind of help them figure out where they might be interested. Okay, would you be interested in like working in NFTs or DeFi, or, you know, do you want to work in the gaming, or do you want to be a developer, or do you want to focus on cybersecurity? Like there's so many verticals. So that's kind of the whole vision behind it. It kind of also, like, I'm a massive advocate for women coming into this space, but I feel like it's natural. There's certain industries, whether it be teaching, you know, whether it be mining, you know, whether it be construction. Like we don't hear of the narrative, we need more women in construction because it's a male dominated industry. Like I don't hear these types of narratives, but for some reason it's this huge narrative that we need more women into the crypto space. So I find it a bit funny. And, you know, if we think about evolution and we think about, you know, biologically, like women, we naturally generally tend to fall to more nurturing roles. That's why we're more nurses and more teachers and more. So I think that we just need to not focus on that we need more women in this space. I think that we just need to focus on how can we maybe make it a little bit more of an inviting space, because one of my kind of issues, I am working on a few Web3 projects, and it's all males, right? And so you have to kind of have a little bit of a thick skin sometimes when I call it like crypto bro land, and, you know, kind of how they communicate with each other, and then they kind of forget that you're a female. And so you kind of, it's very different from, say, like the corporate world, right? So a woman that maybe has been kind of involved in this kind of corporate world, and there's an HR department, and, you know, there's all these policies and procedures and all this sort of stuff, and you transition into startup Web3 world, it's a completely different world. So just kind of helping educate them a little bit, also helping them feel kind of welcomed, giving them the kind of the education. Women are a lot more conservative, so that's why it takes them a little bit longer to invest their money. There's a lot of stats, and I don't know them off the top of my head, but I've heard it time and time again. If there is a job role and a woman will feel like she needs to almost have all of the requirements of that job role, rather than a guy, if he's got like 60% of it, he'll just go for it. So it's kind of more of a, you know, a confidence thing as well. And that's why I've founded Women in Digital Economy, because I have so many women that I've mentored that I'm like, no, like all of the Web3 businesses need all of the skills of the Web2 businesses. So all you need to do to get into the industry is learn the language and the terminology, and then you can start, and then you can just kind of learn as you kind of progress through and go down multiple rabbit holes. So yeah, I would like the narrative to stop focusing on, you know, we need more women in the space, to how can we just help educate and invite more women into the space.
How did you actually get into the space? Just a little summary. What tips could you give to other women as well who are wanting to kind of get into doing something like yourself?
So I got in late 2017, and I had an online network marketing business at the time, and I was just looking for other avenues. I wanted to transition. I'd been on hospitality for ages, and I hated it, and so I was just exploring lots of opportunities. And somebody introduced me to Bitcoin, and I just went down a rabbit hole. I went to every meetup I could go to. I would listen to every podcast, and I just kind of jumped in. Though I have a little bit of a higher risk profile, I just like threw some money in it because I've kind of got a bit of that gambler side. And I was just like, oh, if I invest this $5,000, if I lose it, I'm not going to break. It's not going to break me. And if I make money, then great. So I always recommend having some kind of, never invest more than you can kind of afford to lose. And then I just went down rabbit holes, and it took me about a year before I really realized the power of blockchain technology and how it was more than cryptocurrency. And I think it's really important for people to learn the difference between cryptocurrency and blockchain, and the power in behind it. And then that's when I discovered the Advanced Diploma and Diploma of Applied Blockchain. I was the first international student female to enroll in those programs and then complete them. And while I was studying them, I knew that they had a shortage of trainers. So I was also getting my qualifications to teach. And yeah, the rest is history. So just start. That's my advice.
And on that topic, I guess a common question that people in the crypto industry or into crypto get from non-crypto people is, where should they start if they want to learn more? So where do you tend to point people?
Yeah, it's a very good question, and I get it asked a lot. The best place to start, well, is just to start, okay? And it really also then depends on your type of learning style. So for me, how I personally started was going to community events and just learning. So generally, like for example, All Things Blockchain, we host an educational event every month. This month, we talked about the Bitcoin halving and the impact that would have on the future of Bitcoin. But then you also learn from the people that are there, and then you get connected, and then you kind of get put into groups. So that's definitely one way, is I think just tapping into the community. And there's meetup groups all over, well, Australia and all over the world. So I would just go into Meetup and look for some local blockchain or crypto meetups. Secondly, there's an abundance of information online. Okay, Google, crypto Twitter is great for news. Not Google, sorry, YouTube. But the problem for beginners is sometimes there's so much information that you don't know where to start. You don't know what information you need to know first, and you don't know what information is really kind of critical to protecting yourself, and it can be a little bit overwhelming. And that's why I created the Crypto Basics for Beginners course, because I wanted to, that's what I specialize in, is just helping people kind of remove all of the noise and the big jargon and the fancy words, and just being like, this is what you need to know. Okay, yeah, do you need to know what proof of work and proof of stake and the differences and the consensus algorithms and how the mining works and all that sort of stuff? Not right now. What you need to know though is what your private keys are and why you need to keep those safe. And later down the track, you can go down a rabbit hole. And so it's just really quite critical for them to kind of learn the very basics. So yeah, I would just say, follow and podcasts. So one of my podcasts that I listened to, it was called Web3 Academy. They have rebranded to Milk Road, but that is my number one for people that are wanting to learn about not just crypto, because they do market watch and everything, but they also talk about businesses that are being built and how this technology is being used in a business application, not just necessarily making money. So summarize is do my Crypto Basics free. It's 100% free. And then build from that and tap into your local communities.
We will be sure to put Danielle's details in the show notes so you can check out her website and all her courses, because they're amazing.
Oh, and one last thing, anybody that is living in Queensland, they can study the Diploma of Blockchain with me for free at TAFE Queensland. So anybody can study it, but it's just a bonus if you're in Queensland. You can study it for free because it's on the TAFE free program here. And it will be for the rest of the year, and hopefully they'll keep it on there next year as well.